Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. A couple weeks ago, I was having happy hour drinks with a buddy Brian, and as we interact, I actually always love interacting with him because he challenges my thinking. He's got this ability to see the 500,000 foot view, right? He's able to step back and see it. And we're actually on a committee together, and as we were planning the next steps for this ministry, everybody, including myself, was looking at how can we raise more money? What are our immediate goals to address our immediate ministry needs, which is part of our role, right? But as we laid all these things out, Brian stepped back and he said, I think all of those things are great. But if we do these things, we should do them so that we're able to take more risks, so that we're able to learn from those risks, and that we can become a resource to other ministries. See, Brian's able to see the bigger picture, which is always a challenge to me. And then as we were sitting for drinks, Brian was talking about, and I don't remember the conversation perfectly. I don't know if he was making them weave together, or if Brian just so naturally lives this way that every story or analogy that comes out of his mouth is of that same line. He was telling me that he likes to dirt bike, and he likes to take people out dirt biking. But one of the things that he learned is that he needed to teach people when they were first learning to ride a dirt bike to not be so focused on the front wheel and what's right in front, that he needed to help people see that you already know what that tree right in front of you is because you're looking way down the path. In order to be successful and not get hurt, fall off, run into a tree, it's not the immediate tree that's the problem. It's stepping back. It's being able to look beyond that. And he was telling me that that's such a passion of his. He loves seeing people's faces as they first get on a bike and ride it. But that was the biggest learning curve. I think the same goes for our faith. Our faith, when we interact with our faith, a lot of times we want answers that are so simple, right? We've got an issue. We've got a tree right in front of us. And so sometimes we treat God like he's a vending machine. Right, we put a couple quarters in, we hit A8, and we expect to get an answer spit right out at us because we want to address this tree, this thing right in front of us. A lot of times when we're having conversations with other people, whether it's faith or people without faith, we're having conversations along these lines. We're going in and we're pushing A8, B13, and C12, and then we're regurgitating that stuff all out of context, all out of the story. Because we're looking at this tree, and this tree, and we're not able to see the whole path. There's a saying, we're not able to see the forest for the trees, right? Because we focus so much on these trees, we're not able to see the big picture, and that's something that Brian encourages me in pretty regularly. So I want to encourage us as we interact with our faith, whether it's those of us who have it and we're trying to enter into these spaces that are uncomfortable for us and we're looking for biblical support, or whether it's those of us who are kind of on the fence, we're thinking, I'm not sure, but I want answers to a couple specific things. I want to share the story of Jesus on the cross. See, at the end of Jesus' life, Luke 23, 40, 43, he's interacting with two gentlemen who are also on crosses next to him. They're both thieves. They both deserve to be there. And they're kind of talking back and forth, and one of them steps up and says, hey, don't you understand? We deserve to be here, but Jesus doesn't. He didn't do anything wrong. And he turned to Jesus, and it's really unimportant what his intentions were, other than he turned to Jesus and said, you know what, Jesus, please remember me when you get to heaven. Jesus, without skipping a beat, says, I will. You'll be there with me, in fact. And so another tree situation that I got into was a conversation about what this guy had to do. And did he have previous knowledge of Jesus? Was he baptized in a previous, earlier, and he had just fallen away from God? And I think, again, we're asking all the wrong questions there. It's almost as if in this moment of clarity, Jesus says, none of that matters. It's not that this guy had to fill out a test. He had to answer 3 questions. He had to do everything right. This guy believed. He knew Jesus was innocent, and he believed that Jesus would be in heaven, that he would defeat death. That's all that it took. So I would encourage us as we experience faith, For those of us with faith, when we enter into conversations with people about God, about Jesus, that we would do so from the bigger overarching story, that we would tell God's story, not bits and pieces of it removed from context. And then those of us who are considering faith, those of us who are maybe experienced it in different ways with these verses out of context, I would encourage you to indulge, to just engorge yourself with the story. Just get involved and learn and live within that story that God is telling through us and through his people. If we do that, we paint a better picture. We experience God differently. We experience God better because we're able to step out and see the whole story, not the tree that's immediately in front of us. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to follow us each week, click here to subscribe. And if you want to take it a little bit further, click here for discussion materials.